The Inheritors is a South Korean romance TV drama directed by Kang Shin-hyo and Boo Song-chul. It was released in 2013 and was originally published by SBS World, but it's now available on Netflix. Although I recommend you watch this drama, it is a 20-hour series, so here's a quick summary. The drama follows the lives of Kim Tan and Go Young-sung, two people from two incredibly different backgrounds. Kim Tan is the son to the chairman of Jaejuk Group, a multi-million won industry. Meanwhile, Go Young-sung is the daughter of a single deaf mother who works as a housekeeper for Tan's family. Kim Tan and Go Young-sung meet in America where, under unfortunate circumstances, Tan takes Young-sung under his wing before they both return to Korea separately. They eventually meet again at Jaejuk High School after Young-sung is given a student-in-need scholarship by Tan's father. The pair start a budding romance, that is interrupted by Choi Young-do, the school bully, who also has a crush on Young-sung, and Rachel Yu, Tan's arranged fiancée. Arranged to cover up the fact that Kim Tan is an illegitimate child and not the son of his mother who runs Jaejuk High School, but the son of a mistress. Confusing, right? Using this narrative, I'll be exploring the thematic element of hierarchy and social stature between the characters in this drama, whilst researching to find connections to Korean culture. In the drama, despite Young-sung's reluctance, she is transferred to Jaejuk High School, a school run by Tan's family, on a welfare scholarship, known as a student in need. The school has a hierarchy of its own. At the top is the group of future owners, the heirs of huge companies. Second class are the group of shareholders who are not the heirs to their parents' companies, but hold a large majority of shares. The third class is the group of honour, a group where their parents are successful and they are simply from a wealthy family. Lastly, below third class are the students in need. This label suggests a lower economic class in itself. These students are not here because of their parents, but because someone rich owes their parents a favour. In Young-sung's case, her mother works for Tan's father, the owner of the school. Those of a higher class often bully the students who are lower. Because of this, Tan advised Young-sung to be a parvenu and pretend she is new money rich, in the bid to raise her status and prevent her from receiving discrimination from her peers. Only a select few students know the truth, and despite their efforts, they still treat her with disrespect, referring to her as the student in need and not by her name. Despite Young-sung's treatment, not everyone is as lucky. Many student in need students get bullied and, in severe cases, even leave the school. This bullying between the students could be an insight to their harsh and very judgmental upbringing. An example of this is Young-do. He is the school's bully, but at home he is often abused and looked down on by his father. This negative relationship and treatment by his authority figure could influence the way he behaves towards those he perceives as being below him at school. The hierarchical culture at Jaejuk High School is an indicator of Korean culture as a whole. In Korean culture, your status in a relationship is often determined by several factors, including age, job, and gender. This system is called the Confucian social order and has long dictated Korean behaviour to a large extent. The Confucian social order is based on relationships, in particular the 5 relationships, also known as Oryeon, a method formulated by the Chinese philosopher Mencius. Mencius states that between father and son there should be affection, between ruler and minister there should be righteousness, between husband and wife there should be attention to their separate functions, between old and young there should be proper order, and between friends there should be faithfulness. It is apparent that the Oryeon emphasises hierarchical relationships. Traditionally, men are considered higher than women, and respecting your elders and those of a higher class is seen as a moral and ethical way to behave. The son is below the father, the wife is below the husband, etc., with only the friends' relationships being faithful, but nevertheless still requiring a supposed lower class person to behave in a subordinate way towards their class superiors. This is certainly apparent in the Inheritors. Students treat each other not as equals or friends, but in a strict hierarchy in terms of what class they are. An example of this is when Young-sung talks to Tan's real mother. She exclaims that, "You can't speak informally to him just because you are the same age." This is because she is just the daughter of a housekeeper, and he is the heir to a company, emphasising the Korean class system and hierarchy is based on occupational, economic and social status. The pressure to uphold a moral hierarchy is also apparent in Tan's family home. Kim Tan is not the son of his father's wife, Jung Ji-suk, who runs the school, but the son of a mistress, Han Ji-ae. At school, Tan has to pretend that he is the son of his fake mum, not his biological mother, in a bid to keep the business reputation and status. Tan was also to be a part of an arranged marriage with Rachel Yu. This marriage was not only to disguise the fact that Tan is an illegitimate child, which would bring shame on the family and jeopardise business relations, but also to cement the merger of two businesses. In South Korea, adultery was a crime until 2015. Committing a criminal act would be detrimental to Jaejuk Group, as Tan's father, the chairman, committed adultery when he had an affair with Tan's mother. The adultery law first came into effect in 1953 and was introduced to protect women and followed the idea that men who tended to be economically and socially more powerful took advantage of women, and when they divorced, this law would give women more leverage in divorce proceedings. However, despite this, Ji-suk, Tan's fake mother, did not divorce Tan's dad, and therefore kept her job as the head of Jaejuk School, social status, and as a result will inherit a large portion of his fortune. Tan's mother, Ji-ae the mistress, is trapped inside the family home surrounded by luxury, while Ji-suk continues to live an independent life of power, carried by her estranged husband's status. Ji-suk also uses her moral hierarchy as the grieved wife to put down Ji-ae and refers to her as a mistress and continues to discriminate against her. She is emotionally and physically abusive towards her because in social and moral status she is above her. Ji-ae is very aware of the moral shame associated with the adultery she committed, and when Tan wants to tell people about her being his real mother, she is desperately begging him to stop, in the fear it will damage his business relations, suggesting Ji-ae knows her place within the hierarchy, and the years of torment by Ji-suk has made her ashamed and damaged her self-esteem. Although there are many more examples, it is recognisable that hierarchy is a strong theme that runs through the series of The Inheritors, and this hierarchy clearly links with the elements of Korean culture and their strong moral class system.